Stephanie O'Brien Martin. Welcome to Breaking Free and Owning Me, where I coach callers through various issues that they need help overcoming. They want a goal that they want to achieve, a mindset that they want to shift and transform so that they can live life authentically, live life on purpose, and fulfill the call on their life. Today's caller is actually my sister. You may see the resemblance, or maybe you won't. And I'm going to give a warning about this call in that she is a mother of small children, and the youngest one, my nephew, um, she put him down for a nap, but you could hear him crying in the beginning, and then I encouraged her to go and get him and stuff. So we had to pause. There was quite a few interruptions having the little one around and stuff. But she had remarkable focus. Um, and so hopefully you can get past that distraction. This is real life. I love that it was just so reflective of honestly what we were talking about in the call, which is like letting go of your plan and accepting and embracing the season of your life. And so, if you are an overachiever that loves your plan and works your plan, and you're kind of like a no excuses, push through it, get it done anyway type of person, tune in to this episode because you may be able to relate to some of the struggles that she was going through. If you find that you are putting a whole lot of pressure on yourself that you should do, ought to do, but things are not getting done and like you're just amping up, like, I have to get this done, I should, I ought to. Those are all signs and things to pay attention to. For the overachievers that just like know how to like, no excuses, push through it, work harder, um, just try harder, just work harder, like that kind of messaging. There is a time and place for it, but it is not for all people all the time, in all situations, in all contexts. And so overachievers really latch on to that language because they love achievement. They feel fulfilled and validated by achievement. And but from my own personal experience and from hers, it can be distracting and it can keep you in a place for way too long when you need to let go. And it can rob you of your peace. So, without any further delay, tune into the call. Welcome to Breaking Free and Owning Me, Sarah. How can I support you?
Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for talking to me today, by the way. Been looking forward to this. So to jump right in, I could use some support navigating just thoughts surrounding a new business that I have. Um, it's kind of started quickly and was successful, and I was excited and still am excited. I feel like fuzzy on how to continue to build my business because it is a priority to me. But I feel like what I'm noticing is I write my to-do list every day, and the things that are surrounding that business get moved to the next day, and then to the next day, and then to the next. I've probably written them like 16 times. And like, I'm just not executing on them, which is not my personality. I like to execute and get things done. And so there's just something there that I feel like I need to talk about or
Okay.
discover.
So if you could just take a stab at the reason for the block, what do you think? What do you think is behind it?
I am wondering if I'm like not clear on like the purpose or, well, so I don't know how specific you want to be, but the beginning of the business was like a product launch the product. Now that that's kind of passed, I was thinking the next stage would be to deliver really good content just to keep traffic flowing to the website, to keep sales going, and to keep building a brand and delivering a message. That was kind of like what I strategically thought would be phase two. In like the reality of my everyday life, I'm wondering, like, do I have the capacity to deliver like that much content, as often as I feel like I should? I have like these email addresses. I feel like I should be emailing people something, but I feel like my capacity is not as high as like would be needed to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
If that
Okay.
makes sense.
So you're saying keywords here. I
Okay.
hear a lot of shoulds.
Okay.
I feel like I should be doing this. I have these email addresses, so I feel like I should be X, Y, Z. And shoulds usually indicate, I talk about this a lot, and a force energy instead of a flow energy. The flow or force. And usually blocks are indicators of shoulds, have to, I ought to, I must, I need to. That's a force. That's usually a force energy, and that's usually not what you're actually meant to do. You're not called to do that.
Okay.
So I would lean into more on how can we get into flow. Because flow is life, it's peace, it's honestly easy. It's like floating on your back down a river. The river moves here.
Okay.
You're not, force is like trying to swim upstream. It's exhausting. You're going to burn out. It's not going to be fun. So, okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Does that feel right?
Yes.
Okay. So I say something that doesn't resonate.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was behind this? Like, I think you've kind of explained this a little bit. What initially, this idea of content and stuff, where did all of that come from?
I feel like I do like the idea, and I feel like maybe in a different season that would bring me joy. Like to I love to write and I love to create. I feel like I so I love the idea, and I think I came up, it makes sense business wise. Like I feel like I've just heard that and I resonated with it, because I'm like, oh, I would love to do that. That sounds great. I think I'm like coming to the realization of like, I just need to pivot a little bit and maybe just do it in a little smaller setting or slower, or I don't know. Like, and I want to be aware of like, I don't want to make excuses, and I don't think I am. Just the balance of like, okay, so if I have 3 hours to work on this business, what is it going to be? I don't think I can produce that in the small amount of time that I have. I don't think,
Walk
did I
me
answer your
through
question?
what did you envision content wise? How often? What formats?
Like I would have loved to be able to deliver a good post, like a blog post every week, or at least something to email. And then even more bare bones than that, I wanted to deliver like a good printable, like once a month, like to design a printable and deliver that would go along with content. And I've struggled to do that.
Both the blog and the printable? Okay.
Because I sit there and I think about the principle, what I want it to be, and how I want it to go with the pose, and then I start writing it, and then I'm like spending all this time like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't want to do this. I'm just doing this because I feel like I should do this. All
Yeah.
I really want to do is to start designing the next planner and to start doing more of the creative designing. But I feel like I have to take care of the people in the meantime, the customers.
Okay. How else can you take care of the people and the customers that doesn't look like content?
Um, while I've been thinking of content on a smaller scale, in particular for me, like maybe Instagram, because it's more visual, and I do love just the visual. That's why I created the planner, and working with that, fonts, all of that. I feel like that would be like the baby version of blog posts, just simple, way less time, but still something that I would love, still a way to serve people and connect with people, still shareable.
And what stops you from doing that?
I'm like, because if I can't do the other, then I can't do that either. It's all or nothing.
Okay. So what do you need to let go of?
I'm going to let go of the plan for now of I have to write a blog every week and send something to my email people every week.
Okay.
So I guess what do I do with these email addresses?
Well, you just described a way to do something much more simple, much more creative, much more in alignment with your giftings, talents, and passions.
Mm-hmm.
Would you send them what you create?
The Instagram posts?
Yeah, or printables, or like, wasn't it printables you were designing or something?
Um, I don't know.
So, Instagram posts, what is it that you're doing on those posts?
Nothing right now.
Okay.
I could do a variation of, flat lays for the product, but also um, just like a quote, or it would be a vehicle to post a question or to deliver. Um, I don't know. I don't know how to word it.
Okay. So, I hear
I
baby.
know it's.
If you need to get them, go get them. Um, so I hear,
I might need to go get them in a minute.
yeah, we could pause it. Do you want to get them?
Okay.
Okay. Let me pause.
Okay.
All right. So we are back. We had a momentary interruption with baby, and that happens when you have small kids. So you'll hear the baby in the background, and that's okay. We're gonna still pay attention to the value of this call. So we left off with you were letting go of this plan, that this idea that you liked. It sounded like a good idea, but you realized it's not the right timing for this season in your life. And then you were tuning into more of what is much more simpler, easier, much, probably, you didn't use the word feel, but like feels better and more realistic to execute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I still have ideas that I want to share, or like a message I want to share with people. Um, I guess I need to give myself permission that it doesn't have to be as robust of a message. It can be in little tidbits, little questions, little things here and there.
Right. And exactly. Questions, tidbits, and how do you define a message?
How do I define, or what is,
Get clear on tell me what a message is to you. What is sharing a message look like
well, I feel like I don't know in general what message may mean, but
for you?
I feel like the message of our time is a resource that we've been given, and are we using our time like to the best of our abilities? Are we using our talents to the best of our ability? Just that message and that idea, I just feel compelled to share and challenge people in. And so I thought that a blog would be like the best way to do that. But I am thinking I can still do that in just different ways.
Right. Okay. So you're starting to realize that, like, by letting go, I'm sure you know the power of letting go, letting go, release work or whatever. That once we let go of ideas that we get attached to, and it's really our ego that comes up with it usually, that more ideas, we make room for more ideas that actually work for us.
Right.
But you said I'm an all or nothing. If I can't have it all, I don't want any. Or you didn't say that. If I can't have it all, I don't want any of it.
If I can't do it exactly how I want to, then I won't do it at all. I won't do anything.
So what part of you is in the driver's seat there? What version of yourself?
What do you mean? Like my perfectionist side of myself, or?
If that's what's coming to mind, you said perfectionist. That's what comes to mind. Maybe that's exactly what it is.
I think it's a part of me that's like, the part that doesn't want to make excuses, doesn't want to give up. Just because something is hard doesn't mean I can't do it. And so I think sometimes I don't know when to pivot to be like, you just need to change the plan so that you can move forward, versus like, no, you just need to try harder. And I'm usually in the camp of like, oh, you just need to try harder. You just need to figure it out. You can do this. This is just an opportunity. Just figure it out. Let's go. But like over and over and over, it's like, okay, I think it's time to pivot because I'm just like putting it off.
So would you describe yourself as an overachiever?
Of course.
Okay. So you're describing a lot of things that I myself can relate to and have done a lot of work to release, and I'm still in process. But this is a very, very, very common trait in overachievers.
Okay.
Who it's that force energy, it's that push energy, it's the make it happen, no excuses, and you're just like pretty hard on yourself, which has gotten you very far.
It is rewarding.
Right. So let's explore this. This is I know this isn't necessarily what you asked me for, but I believe kind of getting to the bottom of this will really help you learn how to navigate and push through future blocks or things that confuse you.
Okay. I agree.
If you were, how do I want to phrase this question? If suddenly something were to happen to you, or you got sick or injured, and you could no longer achieve or accomplish, how would you do that?
That would, like anything? Or
Goals, business wise,
yeah,
running a house, household management, whatever your high achiever, overachiever connects to.
I mean that I feel like is a core part of like who I am. So it would be very difficult.
Okay. Right. Where does this drive to achieve come from?
Well, I do feel like a lot of that is my personality. Like type A, firstborn. Um and in like I don't know if you're familiar with the 5 needs or like love and belonging, like fun and pleasure, like achievement. Like I'm always in that category of like achievement driven. I think that's just part of who I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think our culture feeds that, I guess.
Yes. Big time. Big time.
Yeah.
So what I can relate.
Can I share something else that's coming to my
Yeah.
mind?
Yeah.
Um I don't know like maybe when these thoughts come, but I don't know if it's because I, was a leader in Mary Kay for so long. And in that industry, you just try harder. When it's hard, you just keep going. And when the going gets tough, you just get tougher, which is like, that's business and that's sales. And has made me stronger of a person. But I feel like there's a quote to overcome any weakness. And I don't know. Like, I feel like, there's a fear of like, I don't want to be the excuse maker. And I don't know, like, I guess I'm just sharing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm not saying it came from that, but
it's triggered from it.
mm-hmm.
Who does that remind you of?
Who?
Don't make excuses. Toughen up. Get over it. Push through. Work harder. Does it remind you of a specific person?
I mean, I think you're trying to get at dad, that it's my dad. But me being the firstborn, like, I feel like it was just, yeah, he's like that for sure, but I'm just like that on my own. Like, I know
Mm-hmm.
that. And I think if anything, like, if he's like that, like, I never felt pushed by him. I would just agreed with him. Yep, let's go. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
anything, I feel like he noticed that weakness in himself and tried to call me out on it. Like, Sarah, just do what brings you joy. Just relax. Like, but I wouldn't listen, of course. I'm like, no, I need to get the A. I need to get to this college. I need to do this. You didn't do it, so I'm going to do it. Like,
And what drove you to want to achieve and drive yourself so hard like that?
sorry. um, I don't know how to answer it besides like an inner drive.
Okay. For your own satisfaction or
Just the own pressure I put on myself.
okay. So did you fear anything like not hitting this goal would mean what? not getting AIDS meant, not getting into this college would mean, not hitting this goal mean.
Right. Would mean that I'm not the best of the best, or I'm not the best I could be. I'm not in the top tier. Like, I want to live in the top tier of everything I do.
What's he doing?
He's going to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Real life.
Well then. Poor thing. Okay, so we can edit that part out. Okay. So is it that you wanted to be the best of the best, or that you wanted to be your best? Because you used those phrases twice. You used both. So what one is it really?
The best of the best. Because I think my best might be, if I think the best of the best is up here and my best is right here, I just usually tell myself it's not good enough, get up here.
The lovely, it's not good enough. Is that a huge driver for you?
In my own work,
to push you. What's the self-talk going on?
This is like the worst. It's like, of course, never this bad.
Okay. Hey. Hi. Hey. Hey, cutie. Hi.
Can you ask your last question again?
What is the self-talk to get you to push harder? I heard you say, I want to be the best of the best. And when you're doing your best, but you see the best, you say, it's not good enough. I'm going to get there. Is that the self-talk that pushes you, that motivates you and drives you?
I'm not sure.
Because it came out just so naturally.
Yeah. Guess I don't understand the question. Are you asking me, what do I say to myself, or?
Yeah. What is the dialogue you tell yourself? What's kind of the internal conversation happening that drives you, that motivates you to keep going and to keep pushing? What do you
in a healthy way, or
what? No, what are you
healthy
saying to yourself? We're not editing here. What do you and are you saying to yourself?
I don't know. I'm actually drawing a blank. I don't know if I maybe don't have the awareness. I'm aware of what I'm putting in my mind. I am aware of the affirmations I say every day.
Mm-hmm. And what results do you see from that?
One of my affirmations is, my obstacles are opportunities. My problems are smaller than me. So I'm telling myself to just, this is not, this is opportunity. Let's move around it. My problems are smaller than me. It's not going to get me down.
Okay.
Things like that.
Do you feel like you need to tell yourself that?
Right. I mean, I resonated with them. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because
I
don't need to affirm things that are already in there, rooted in strength. I'm curious why you keep affirming and feeding.
I think because it makes me feel powerful, and like I believe it. I believe it because it does resonate with me. Like I have made affirmations surrounding my strengths because when I read it, I'm like, yeah, I am really good at like I'm really good at focusing and staying on task. I'm really good at that. Instead of like making a statement that's like not true about me yet, I have a hard time like believing that.
Okay, so let's go here. Like, the point of affirmation is to build the strength. You're strengthening a muscle that's weak. You're building and rooting in a faith or a belief that you don't have yet.
Okay.
And I think it's wonderful that you affirm what you already know. That's awesome. But is it really necessary?
So how do you identify like a weakness versus like an area I want to grow in? Like,
So how are you with just being?
how do you answer that question? Like, I'm okay with it.
How do you do, like, okay, if you had to rate yourself on on a scale
Try to rate myself.
on a scale of 1 to 10. Hi, bud.
I'm not gonna do it.
What is it? Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well, 10 being I rock at just being, I'm in zen and peace,
Right.
I'm still and I'm cool, I'm solid in that, and 1 being I run like crazy from it. It terrifies me to just be. I'd rather just do.
Right. Somewhere between 5 and 10. I mean, probably like 6.
Okay.
Because I'm okay with it. I love when I'm just in silence in the morning, trying to just be. Yeah, it's the only time where you're not hearing a message about yourself. You're just yourself. I don't know how often I'm like in that place throughout my day.
But you are in the morning, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, can I state an observation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
It seems like there's a high attachment to achievement and doing, being strong, pushing through, cut the best excuses, get over it, toughen up, and get it done. And you're very comfortable with that. And you keep affirming that in you. I'm curious how well it serves you right now in this season.
I'm like honestly okay with it. Most of the time, it's just in the seasons where it really is time to step down and pivot. I maybe don't recognize that. I need like an outside source to call that out. But I do feel like in that mindset is when I'm thriving most of the time.
I'm the same way. There's something wrong with that. I need people in my life to help me know when to calm down. Calm down and slow down. Okay. But you're recognizing, and this is how you can get better with it, going back to flow or force. Like you operate in more of the achieving, striving, doing energy,
Mhm.
and less in the go with the flow, accepting what is,
Mhm.
surrendered, serene, and peaceful.
Mhm.
Which I don't know if you've heard of masculine energy and feminine energy. The feminine energy is more of the receiving energy, and the
Mhm.
masculine energy is like getting things done and going out there and
Mhm.
driving.
Mhm.
And it's not that like you're masculine or feminine; like, it's just like
Mhm.
the energy.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so the and this is entirely up to you, but like you're very very strong in the one, but
Mhm.
there's polarity in life. We need to
Mhm.
be balanced, and it seems like you're super just like this on point.
Mhm.
So I'm going to encourage you to maybe come up with different affirmations that are less like in the masculine
Mhm.
driver energy, that force energy, and more into the flow, the
Mhm.
surrender, serene, peaceful, receiving. I'm okay with just letting things be. They are what they are. How does it feel when
Mhm.
I even say that?
I think okay. That's kind of like frou-frou-y, but okay, I'm open to it.
Okay. Well, what do you mean
I
by frou-frou-y? Frou-frou,
like
whatever.
let it happen. Um, I guess like how do you know? Because I agree. I do feel like I can't be all on one polar end. I guess like maybe what keeps me from going to the other end is like the boundary between excuse making and just letting it be.
Right. So let
Like
me ask
it's
you
just
this.
how it is. Like yeah.
How often do you make excuses?
Well, I don't often make excuses.
Okay. Do you really think that you're the type of person to make excuses, get lazy, sitting on your butt, doing nothing?
No, I don't. However, I could see myself justifying something and getting busy in the wrong things just because like it's a different type of excuse making, but it's still like an avoidance kind of thing.
Okay. So avoidance and excuses are different
Okay.
behaviors. So you recognize you can avoid, but you don't really make excuses.
No, I don't make excuses.
But that avoidance and your justification for avoiding, you can really do a good job.
I'm really good at that.
Okay. Okay. So what types of things do you avoid?
You know what? And also like just a thought, the times that I do slow down and just let myself be, it's almost like it helps me take personal responsibility. Like, this is who I am, or like, I don't know, it helps me see what I do enjoy. Like, I'm such a driver, but in this season, I'm also a mother of small kids. And when I slow down, it makes me realize like, you may not be able to drive in the work setting as much as you would like to, but when you slow down and realize what a gift you have with all these small kids, like it increases my appreciation, and it doesn't feel like excuses.
Okay. So can you do more of that?
Of the slowing down. Yeah.
Do you feel like a part of you is called to slow down a little bit?
um I can't say I've had that calling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or sex,
Um,
or okay. And then maybe you're not. Like, yeah, I'm just exploring with you here.
yeah.
So I totally get you are a driver, an achiever, a doer. I mean, I relate to all of this because this is very much a very similar wiring. And it's just so much a part of you. It's really never going to go away. I mean, God made you that way for a reason,
Hmm.
but there is that balance.
Hmm.
There is that time to rest, to release, to receive, to be still and know. And there are seasons of that.
Hmm.
And when we're just constantly in a striving energy, it wears us down, it burns us out.
Hmm.
We're so unavailable
Yeah.
for
And I do have the sense, not for slowing down, like, but for more reflection. I
which
guess
requires
for
slowing down, right?
right. However, I need to figure out like with three small kids, there's no slowing down. There's no slowing down. However, like I need to find a way to reflect in that. That might be getting up earlier to have a slow moment.
Let's phrase it as slowing down. Let's reframe it from slowing down to creating space.
Yeah, I relate to that.
Okay. So, creating space, reflection requires creating space, and you can create space in the midst of chaos.
You're right. And
There's-
I think I need to do more of that. Yeah.
Okay. So, how can you create more space?
Mm. Um, my first thought is to just get up earlier in the morning when it's quiet.
And how, and does that feel right for you? Realistic?
Um, it's doable. This is where I'm thinking, like, don't make an excuse. Just get up.
Okay.
Um, there's no reason why I can't get up. Yeah, it's me going to bed. That's what I need to do. I need to go to bed on time to get up on time.
Okay.
Um,
So, you'll get up earlier, like what, 15 minutes?
I feel good when I have like 30 to 45 minutes of quiet time to myself
Okay.
before my kids wake up.
30 to 45 minutes of quiet time. Okay. In the morning.
Hmm. And having, so I often just jump into reading right away, but to take the time first of like reflection and just being for 5 to 10 minutes would be something I'd like to change.
Okay. Of just being. Do you have like guided meditation apps or things to help you with that, or you already know how to do that?
Um, I have some. I could search for ones I like a little better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to start off with just being, just kind of
Mm-hmm.
helping create space.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll read or
Mm-hmm.
journal or whatever that routine is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. And then what are your takeaways?
First of all, thank you for being gracious with my background. I'm so sorry that
That's
it didn't turn out as planned.
fine.
um, but I guess my takeaway is like by in the past, like by me just trying harder, I have ended up just kind of hitting my head against a wall like for a while. And if I would have maybe been more aware or spent more time reflecting, I probably would have realized that I need to change or pivot much earlier and have felt and maybe have felt more true to myself. So just the importance of the reflection time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So your original question was, you needed clarity. What do you feel more clear on when it comes to your planner?
I feel really clear on the force versus the flow. That was really helpful because what I'm feeling is so forced, like so forced. And now that I have the thought of flow, I'm like, I can see the contrast. So I feel more clear on like, go with the flow, go that route, go with the flow route. And I'm going to reflect on that some more. Like, what would that look like? But that was really, really helpful. I feel more clear on for sure what it's just okay to let go of the shoulds.
Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, that flow or force, that was definitely God given. That was my divine download. And it's been so catchy to so many people. It's just like ahas when they hear it because it
Yeah.
really helps you get in alignment and be honoring of who God made you to be and live much more authentically. In that energy. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and take that flow or force. Like remember, like, is this force? This feels forced. Something about this feels forced, and you'll like know,
Yeah.
what that feels like, and just like okay, and you can do this multiple times a day. It can be quick. It could be like 2 minutes. It's just like as soon as you
Mhm.
feel it, you can just like I'm deciding to let this go. This isn't for me.
Mhm.
Force is force is not what I meant to do, so I let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it gives you much more creative space for what is in flow. So cool. All
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Thank
Well,
you. But you don't have to answer me right now, but my question is, do you have like off the top of your head, or maybe you could put this in like show notes or something, but what questions could I be asking myself in that reflection time that would like almost like get my mind there? And maybe that's what would be in the guided meditation once I find a good one. But what are some self-reflection questions I could ask myself throughout the day to create that space?
okay,
I
that's a
don't know if
really
you have
good
a,
question.
yeah, I don't know if you have a resource or.
Well, I do have a worksheet created for Julie's call that's called self coaching questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, that's more for like digging up limited belief mindsets.
Okay.
So this is good for like when it comes to like making a decision of what to let go. But a big question is what do I need to let go of? And tuning into this feels forced. What feels
Right.
forced about it? But I can expound a little bit more and create a worksheet on that. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good
Okay.
suggestion. But the first thing is acknowledge it feels forced.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, buddy. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for powering through with the little one and
Thank you.
being able to still focus with having
It is one of my strengths.
baby crying and pulling on your ear and no, I'm impressed. So, all right.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
There you have it. That was my call with Sarah. And if you could relate to that energy of driving and striving and going and working harder and pushing more, hopefully you found value in this call. There are times where we need to let go. There are times where we need to create space to reflect. And instead of latching on to a goal and just pushing through and getting over it and doing it anyway, um, we need to like really tune in and lean into um, what energy we're operating in. And I use this a lot. And stay tuned because I'm releasing a retreat, a deep dive intensive retreat on really mastering um, identifying a flow or force energy. But when I brought up to Sarah the flow or force energy and the difference between flow and force, she got like aha moments and realized like whenever you have should, ought to, have to, must do, um, that's usually an indicator of a force energy. That's usually you trying to make things happen that you're actually not called to do right now. And that's an invitation for you to let go and surrender and be in flow. And I gave the illustration of like you can either swim upstream, which is exhausting, it's not sustainable, and it's going to burn you out, and it's actually really dangerous. Or you could float on your back and just go with the stream and go with the flow. So that really clicked with her, gave her an aha moment, and she started getting a lot of creative ideas. She told me after the official recording of the call. Um, and then there were some things like I want to be the best of the best. My best isn't good enough. I have to be the best. And I didn't really dive too much into that for too long. Um, but usually when you have the I have to be the best, there's an attachment, like a worthiness or an identity to how others perceive you. Like you feel insecure if you are not the best, if you are not number one. It's almost like a performance based validation where you get your value or worth from where you rank in society. It's societally taught to us. We're often fed, our egos are fed by, like, if you are a straight A student, like she was, um, by all of the people, like, doting on you because of how highly accomplished you are. Um, the best school. She had to get into the best school. Um, and yeah, I mean, she is my sister, so I definitely know this is all very, very true. And we both are high achievers. So, um, and I had to do the work of letting go and getting to the bottom of what's really behind all of that. And yes, a part of it is very much your nature, like she said. It is very much a part of who you are, your wiring. She is firstborn. I'm not. Um, and you know, but we have to be careful. So we do have to be careful with like if we have an attachment, our identity and worth and value is wrapped up in like what we achieve and what we accomplish. So achievement is not a bad thing. God made you that way for a reason. Just be careful with like how much you are relying on that external accomplishment to feel validated or to feel valuable. So she was given the invitation to stop feeding her like she was affirming like what she felt comfortable affirming, what she owned, and she already owned it. So I was starting to think like why are you affirming things that you already believe to be true, you already know to be true, you already take full ownership of it, and like maybe affirm things that need growth, that where you actually need help boosting the faith and belief in, um, and kind of like expand and balance out the energies, that feminine and masculine energy, that I talked about, or the flow and force energy. Like, um, I don't know, remember if I gave her an example of an affirmation, but like, I welcome unexpected changes of plan and know that I have the creative ability to pivot and change when needed. That's a great example of an affirmation she can start building in to work that muscle. Because, like, the baby interrupting her plans, she even said, I worked so hard to get him down, so I had the space, but you know what? He wouldn't go to sleep. And, we can work really hard to have a plan, but that plan doesn't always work out. And for those overachievers, it can really rock us if we are attached to that plan and attached to the outcome. So that is my encouragement. And then she asked me to create a worksheet on, what questions she can ask to help her create the space for self reflection throughout the day. So I will have that sheet designed and it will be in the description box available for you to download. All right, everybody, have a fabulous week, and I'll talk to you on the next episode of Breaking Free and Owning Me. Do not forget to subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss an episode. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I'm a huge person on engagement. What spoke to you the most? What did you take away from this call? What did you learn? And how can you help others? And what are you going to do differently moving forward? All right, I will talk to all of you guys next time.